I am sitting with Dr. Zephyr, Dr. Sima Zephyr, and we are going to talk about heart health, specifically, the insider medical information. And Dr. Zephyr is a cardiologist, and so I have a few questions, because really the United States is not the healthiest bunch of people, are they?
No, they're not.
And I just finished talking to Kim Foltz, and she was saying 80% of heart disease is preventable in some way, that there's some lifestyle components. I mean, we always think we have this genetic thing going, and we kind of write it off because we've read on the internet or seen on, a morning talk show. But there's a lot of things that we can do to prevent. So I want to ask you, how many people, how many people are coming in that you're seeing have that, where you can see that they should have changed their life earlier?
I would say about 95%. 95%.
That's a high number.
Absolutely, it's a very high number, and it sometimes surprises you that when they're in their middle age, when they're in their upper 40s and 50s, is when you're actually educating them and telling them what were the right things to do.
And it's over.
And it's
at
over.
That point.
The game's over.
So what would you have, okay, I have high blood pressure. It is genetic. My mom and dad and my maternal grandmother have high blood pressure. But what are things that I should have done? Speak to the 20-year-old Liz. What are things that you can do to change your life so that you don't have those problems?
Well, I think the most important thing is healthy eating and exercise. And if you combine these two, you can prevent a number of these diseases just by doing that. So in my opinion, knowledge is empowerment. And if you are knowledgeable about your ideal weight, the types of food that are healthy for you, the types of food that are unhealthy for you, it is equally important to know what is unhealthy for you.
So what are the unhealthy foods that we should avoid?
Well, simple things that are on day-to-day basis. If from some friends get together, you have cheese dips and nachos, and
I love cheese dips and nachos.
and all these things that are out there as bags of snack that have tremendous amount of fat and calories in them. You need to be able to know how to read the cover, the
labels.
Exactly, and you need to know how many calories, how much fat, how much salt is in it.
And the Go Red Luncheon is specifically focusing on women and heart health because, frankly, I just don't think of myself, I'm going to repeat it over and over again, but I think of it as like my dad's disease, a man's disease, and that is not the case.
That is not the case, and more women are being affected by it. I mean, I'm seeing women in their early 40s who had no risk factors, who are mothers of young children, come to me and they've already had a heart attack, and they were in so much denial of the fact that this could not be a heart attack, the chest pain that they were experiencing is not a heart attack, that they stayed at home and suffered through the entire heart attack, just maybe taking Maalox or laying down in bed.
Isn't that a woman though? That's what we do. We kind of gut it out. Well, let me just try to get all of the stuff done.
Exactly, and if you look at it this way, when you're hungry and you're on the go, then you'll grab anything. Mostly you end up grabbing the unhealthy stuff. I've never seen a mom driving a car eating an apple.
Well, an apple is actually easy. I was going to make an excuse for them and say, well, those snacks are easy, but an apple is actually pretty easy.
But I always try to tell the ladies I work with, plan your meals a day or two ahead. When you've planned something a day or two ahead, like anything else in life, you plan your careers, you plan your education, why can't you plan a meal? So if you plan a meal ahead of time, you will pick a healthy meal. But if you plan it on the go, it's always going to be something easy to cook and high in fat.
It's about convenience then.
Exactly.
So talk to, okay, so you have the 20-something or 30-something, and hopefully they exercise, really important, and I think healthy food choices are actually something that's more important because people exercise. That's the first thing they do when they want to lose weight. But talk to the 40-something where it's over. You can't go back and change it. And so I'll be 40 in November, and I want to get some advice from you. What are some things that I need to do now?
Well, you need to know what your choices of meals are that you are fond of eating. You need to know what amount of fat they have, salt they have, and how many calories they have. And then based upon that, decide which ones were not the best for you and try to get them out of your diet, and pick the ones that you will enjoy eating yet will be low in calories. Also, the snacks you have, what are the snacks in your refrigerator? Should you have a bag of carrots and some people like celery, some people hate celery, but things that are healthy, if you can put them in the refrigerator, so when you open it, you don't go for the bag of, you know, chocolate bars or cookies,
sure,
but you go for the healthy snack.
Right. Tell me about risk factors for women. You know, there's someone watching right now and they're thinking, okay, this is good stuff, but how do I know that I need to go to my doctor and say, can you just check me out for this?
Importantly, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. The common things are common first. So high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking. Absolutely, smoking is serious, and people still don't realize how bad that is. Family history of heart disease in men less than the age of 55 and women less than the age of 65.
Okay.
That also includes stroke and peripheral vascular disease, which means blockage in the vessels to the legs or in the neck.
Okay.
Obesity, which we define as BMI of greater than 30. Lack of exercise. How do we define exercise? Well, the American Heart Association recommends that you do a moderate amount of exercise at least 5 days a week, preferably every day a week, but at least 5 days a week. The moderate amount of exercise could be more than walking on the treadmill, about 3.4 miles per hour, about 20 minutes a day.
Now, before we go to break, if you could wave your magic wand and have women do one thing for themselves related to preventative heart health, what would you
I would have them watch their diet and lose weight.
Okay, just simple. I mean, that it isn't vitamins actually or anything, just maybe reach for healthier. So there you go, healthier choices and moving around a little bit. Dr. Zephyr, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about it.
It's a pleasure.
And I hope that I am making the case for you to check out this Go Red Luncheon online and get some tickets and come, and also to really think about your heart health. Up next, you are going to enjoy a little bit of encouragement from New Heights Counseling. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome to your New Heights Counseling Resources Minute. I'm Jim Wilwerding.
And I'm Jessica Romy. Over the past decade, more and more studies show a strong connection between stress and disease like heart disease.
Preventing stress begins with lifestyle. And there's a great many benefits to having a lifestyle that's connected with nature. Sunshine on your face helps us generate vitamin D. Fresh air practically commands us to breathe deeply and to detoxify. And being in nature gives us a fresh perspective on our life.
Imagine if you created a mantra of take it outside. So whatever activity, you'd question yourself with, what can I do outside right now? For example, if you're about to have dinner, perhaps take it outside for a picnic. Or if you're going to do dishes, you might open a window for fresh air. Also, consider taking a consistent nature break, whether it's daily or weekly, like a nature walk, or perhaps 20 minutes outside in the outdoors.
This has been Jim Wilwerding and Jessica Romy from New Heights Counseling, a place to grow, to heal, and to reach new heights.
Our final guest today is Luana Brown. She has a different perspective on this whole heart health thing and the Go Red movement, because she took a challenge, a makeover challenge. American Heart Association promotes, as you can see, lifestyle changes, really prevented anything that we can do that would prevent future problems with your health. And the Go Red Luncheon also promotes that as well. And Luana, a few years ago, wasn't living the healthy lifestyle that she is today, and so she's here to share her story. So you took the makeover challenge.
I did.
How did it all start?
Well, I tell you, it started out of rebellion, actually. I wish I could say that, you know, oh, I was ready to be healthy, but what was really happening is I was super stressed. I was in middle management and I was in social services, which is quite stressful.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what, I'm not putting another thing on my calendar until I do something for me. And so I picked up the newspaper, and that was like an act of rebellion.
Really, just taking some, so you were not taking time for yourself.
Exactly.
Were you feeling healthy at the time?
I thought that I was healthy at the time. At that time, I thought I felt healthy.
Okay.
Now, looking back, I know I was not healthy at all.
So you were in a place where you weren't healthy, but you weren't feeling it, but you knew you needed to take time for yourself.
Exactly.
And you pick up the newspaper, and what happened?
And I saw an ad for the Heart Healthy Makeover Challenge. And I thought, you know, I'm going to do that. It was for women, and it was to improve your heart health. And I thought, well, you know, we can always probably do that. But what really got me was the perks, because you get a personal trainer, you get a dietitian.
You're like a famous person.
Exactly.
You have your team.
Exactly.
Sure.
You're like the biggest loser almost, you know. And I thought, well, that sounds like people are going to pamper me, so I'm going to do it. Right?
Sounds like a step in the right direction.
Exactly. So I had to write an essay, wrote the essay, and got chosen.
So talk about your transformation, because it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. And in fact, the challenge was 10 weeks long. Although the transformation started immediately for me when I went to the doctor, because that's the first thing you do. You get a checkup and you get your numbers, you know your numbers.
Yes.
And
yes, Kim talked about that. Know your numbers.
Always,
Things
always.
that sound like they are another language, like triglycerides.
That's it, right. That was my number. That was my high number. Everything else was in place. I didn't even know what a triglyceride was, you know? And
I still really don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
See, all I know is that it has to do with your blood sugar.
Okay.
And that made sense to me, because in the African American community, we know about sugar and salt.
Right.
You know, diabetes and high blood pressure.
Absolutely.
So when they said, okay, your sugar levels are off and your triglycerides
That's sounding
high,
familiar.
Exactly. And I thought, well, but what does that have to do with my heart? I didn't know. And I think that in our community, a lot we don't know is that if you have high blood pressure or if your sugar levels are off, now you're at great risk for heart disease. So I was probably just a few years away from a heart attack and didn't even know it.
Wow. And you know, it's when you put it in those terms, it's not worth it to eat the ho-ho or whatever it is. That tastes so good.
Exactly.
So what did you do then? So you kind of quickly walk through the key points of the transformation.
Yes. So what happened, and this is what I really love about the Heart Association, they take all the guesswork out for you. As soon as they know your numbers, they can tell you exactly what to do.
Okay.
So for me, with the triglycerides, I needed to eat fish at least once or twice a week. I need to eat vegetables, which I thought I was doing, but I really wasn't.
Not the kind you needed to.
Exactly.
Right?
Potato chips don't count, right? Darn. And then I needed to exercise at least 30 minutes a day. So that's exactly what I did. I put fish in the diet. I started eating cold cut sandwiches, which is something I had abandoned for school lunch.
Sounds like kiddie food.
Exactly, exactly. But I realized I could make them really nice with a whole bunch of veggies on there.
Sure.
And just fill up and go for it. And then instead of eating, I used to eat 1 or 2 really big meals. Now I eat 6 times a day.
Wow.
6 times
Which
a day.
totally makes sense if you are talking about sugar levels.
Exactly, exactly. And for the exercise, I just started walking.
Okay.
And my husband jumped right in. He's an exercise guru and he loves it. So he was excited. And we started walking and taking the kids with us, popping the baby in the stroller and
just going.
And
Good to
just
have that
going.
support. So nice to have a
Definitely.
supportive partner.
Absolutely.
And all of this sounds very close to what Dr. Zephyr was talking about. Food and our diet and exercise are the things that she talked about, and
That's right.
that is the core of the Makeover Challenge, knowing your numbers and the diet and the exercise. So the luncheon is on September 24th, and you can sign up online.
Yes.
If you go to heart.org/Des Moines, you can buy tickets. They're $50 a ticket, and I have heard nothing but good things about it. So I hope to see you there.
Lots
and I know
of fun.
Luana does as well.
Yes.
And there will be more of the makeover and people and other stories of people who have made changes in their life.
That's right. The luncheon is actually where we find out the winner of the challenge.
Okay.
So this year's winner we'll find out at the luncheon. It'll be great.
And in the end, everyone is a winner if they decide to take the time to take care of themselves. I believe in every way. Today we talked about heart health thanks to the American Heart Association and the Go Red people for making themselves available. Thank you, Luana, for being here. And I hope that you will think about taking care of yourself. Check out your numbers, man. I really think you should. I care about you. I really appreciate you watching. And if you want any more information about the things that we shared because you didn't have a chance to write it down, just go to neadinspiration.com. It will all be there available to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Nead Inspiration. We're proud to bring a new episode each and every week. Stop into Des Moines Motors and see our incredible line of noble cars, electric motor vehicles, and quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. We'll see you on the next episode of Nead Inspiration.